Today we're going to add dry frying to our slowly growing arsenal of stir-fry techniques. The name of the technique is a bit of a misnomer though. Rather than cooking your ingredients in a dry pan without any oil, you're actually cooking them in a way that drives off a lot of their water content, or until they are dry. Hearty vegetables take on an incredible bubbly, blistered exterior, while meats take on a succulent, jerky-like texture. It's a technique typically used as a first round of cooking before stir-frying, so during the setup portion of my 3-step stir-fry technique. I'll link that video here if you haven't checked it out yet. There's a few different ways to execute the technique depending on what you're cooking. The Homestyle Method, the dry roasting method, or the shallow fry method. So let's take a look at the merits of each application of the technique, starting with the Homestyle Method. So the Homestyle Method is great to dry fry hearty vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, string beans, and eggplant. The goal here is to get some color and blistering on the exterior and a softened interior while incorporating as little oil as possible. First, add a small amount of oil to your pan, set your burner to medium-low, and then add your ingredients. Make sure not to crowd the pan as your ingredients will steam instead of dry frying. We definitely don't want that. Slowly fry your veggies until they begin to get a bit of a char and have softened a bit, stirring occasionally so that they don't burn. You want the veggies to be nice and crisp, so don't cook them until they're total mush. The cook time will vary based on the type and cut size of the vegetable, but typically this step takes at least 10 minutes, giving you plenty of time to prep your other stir-fry ingredients while you wait. If you're cooking veggies for a crowd, your best bet is to actually dry roast the ingredients in your oven. All you have to do is toss them in a tiny bit of oil, lay them onto a parchment-lined baking sheet, and roast them at 450 degrees Fahrenheit, flipping them after a few minutes so they don't burn. Again, the cook time is subject to the same variables as the Homestyle Method, but it'll typically take 10 to 15 minutes to achieve the desired effect. Just make sure you keep a close eye on them because we're roasting at a high temperature and they're prone to burning. Now, you could use the previous techniques for dry frying meat, but I find the results to be underwhelming. The Homestyle Method tends to steam or sear the ingredients rather than dehydrate them, while the roasting method dries them out too much. So what's my preferred method? Shallow frying unmarinated proteins in some neutral oil. It's a bit more involved, but the results are totally worth it. After cutting your meat against the grain into small, uniform pieces, I really like to use the Serious Eats dry fry technique of a cold oil start. It's simple, less messy, and helps prevent the pieces from sticking to one another. So, combine the meat and oil in your wok and set your burner to medium-high. During the first stage of cooking, the meat is dehydrating and will cloud your oil as it releases its juices. Once the meat has lost a large portion of its water content, the oil will clear up and you keep cooking until the meat begins to get a browned, crispy exterior. At this point, you remove the meat, setting it aside to incorporate into your stir-fry, or simply pour out the extra oil and add the rest of your ingredients to your wok. This shallow fry can also be done in a straight-sided sauté pan or a pot if you don't have a wok, but you're gonna need to add some extra oil. Well dang, you're now a dry frying wizard. Congrats! I'll link all of my recipes that use this technique in the description. And as always, later nerds.
Crash Course Kitchen. Crash Course.